Welcome to this yoga class of yoga people. My name is Alexandra and I prepared a yoga class today that is aimed for people to learn backdrops. Backdrops is when you go from standing back into a wheel pose. And this class is mostly suited for people who are already quite comfortable with a wheel and can do a wheel with mostly straight arms. So we will do a practice that I personally really like because it's for people like me who are a little bit scared to just go back, even though they might be able to do that. It's also for people like me who maybe, your back bend in your upper back to be a little bit better. So what we will do today, we will do a back drop. Mostly working with the flexors. But of course, it's a back bend, so we don't just work with our hip flexors. But we can work on back drops as well with actual, they're going into extension of our hip flexors. Also, our quads. So we will prepare our hip flexors in this practice. We will prepare our quads, and we will prepare much more because, as well, for me, not that young anymore. I used to be able to just do things, but nowadays I love a proper warm-up. So this will give us definitely a proper warm-up. We will not just warm up our hip flexors and our quads, we'll definitely also warm up our glutes because all back bends, in my opinion, need proper glute work. And what else will we do? We'll a little bit do something for our shoulders as well. We will wake up a little bit our middle and upper back as well. Although, to be honest, back drops get much better if you do them like Rebecca Hanna. Meaning that if you can engage not just the low back and the hip flexors, but really also middle and upper back, they just look gorgeous and it will be much easier to do. But it's a long process and maybe we will still want to do a back drop without having beautiful, gorgeous back bend coming also from our middle and upper back. So we do it my way. My way will be working a lot with these hip flexors. So, okay, enough talk. Let's just start. Again, this will be a practice where we do a lower roll-up and the back drop practice will actually be not that long anymore because I feel it's a lot in the preparations and how you then do the actual back drop exercises, like not just attitude, but really don't get stiff. Like you want to keep it moving, keep it flowing. At least it works for me. So let's see if it works for you too. All right. Before we fully delve into a movement practice, let's take a minute to just ground ourselves. So find a stance where you are hip wide apart, the outer edge of your feet possibly parallel to each other. And then when you're there, maybe shake yourself a little bit through and then find still standing positions where your arms are relaxed, your head is relaxed, and you close your eyes for a few breaths. All right, stay here. Take a deep inhale. Feel your chest expand. And a deep exhale. Feel how you ground yourself. Feel your feet. You can imagine yourself breathing into your feet and pulling the air through your body, through your spine, all the way up. And then from top, relax down. Feel how your face relaxes, how your shoulder relaxes, how your whole body and also your inner state softens. Inhale and exhale. Again, feel your feet, feel the little shifting of weight. You constantly, your body does it without you thinking. Luckily, you're looking for balance. Your body's always looking for balance. Feel it in your feet, even while you stand still. Don't open your eyes for it. Do it with closed eyes. Just stand there. Feel the balance and the balancing. It's also important for our back drops. We often over-focus on where we are scared, like the falling back, the going back, but actually grounded feet help us very much to find a nice backdrop. Then from here, relax your neck and bring your chin to your chest. Lower it completely down and relax your neck muscles. Completely relax them. Imagine that your head is very heavy. And also notice how this little shift, this little movement, the bending forward with your head is actually also having an effect on your inner state. Stay here, and when we're doing backdrops, we usually get quite ambitious, sometimes at least, because we want to be able to do it. We want to overcome our fears, which is a good thing. But sometimes we get too focused on it. So here, take a breath and remind yourself it's just a game. It's not really important that you do a backdrop. It's just fun to learn it. All right, then from here, bring some movement into your body by doing half circles with your neck. Feel it in your cervical spine. Feel how your body is today. Sometimes this does not do anything for us. Sometimes it's like, oh wow, yeah, I needed this the whole day. And when you have done this a couple of times, make full circles. Breathe in, lift your chest slightly, pull the chin up and switch sides with your head. Come all the way to the front and back. Breathe in, lift the chest and then sides. A few times to one direction, and then after a few times, switch direction. Completely up to you how fast or how slow you go. It needs to feel good in your body. You want to come into this full circle by also engaging the front of our neck. All right, when you have done your circles into both directions, bring your head back into the center. Relax the neck by bringing the chin slightly towards your chest. You see your long neck. And then from here, start to circle your shoulders from the front to the back. Cool and slow. And then make it bigger and bigger with every move. Reach your limit. And then keep rolling. Keep rolling and feel your shoulder blades move, how the muscles around your shoulder blades engage. Keep rolling. And try to make this a fluid movement. Pull the shoulder blades together, push the shoulders down before you come back to the front, up, and then again pull and push. We do it 5 more times. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Now I hope you feel grounded and centered, but we will need our energy today. So we do a little bit of hopping. Okay? Yeah, I know. It's not necessarily a yoga thing to do, but it's very healthy for our body. And I actually love to rely on a little bit of onto the normal or the natural body reflexes when I do some backdrops. So that's what you're doing now. You're not even thinking about engaging your core, but you are engaging your core. You're engaging your pelvic muscles. You are working with your feet quite a bit. So waking up all the system, and actually now relax your shoulders and really have fun. You don't need to stay on your mat even. You can move around. So do it, have fun with this. But keep hopping, Nice. We do it longer than we feel comfortable with it. Well, some might be very comfortable with it. If you are, you can even do it more, like engage really properly. Keep hopping. It's completely up to you. You can also be raving. Yeah. And as I'm recording this, I have a certain crown in my mind, right? And in this crown, I would tell someone, and if someone knows, slay. All right, keep going. We do it more for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and give it all. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Woo. Stand still here, just for a few moments. Feel your feet, feel your breath, feel your body. How does it feel? I hope it feels as good to you as it feels to me. So from here, we use again more of a bit of a dynamic warm-up. We warm up our shoulders. First, you can even bring your left hand to your left knee or the other way around. It doesn't matter at this moment. And we swing the arm. Try to keep it very, very kind of, Germany would be called locker. What is it called in English? Like, just don't go with too much like control. Just let it go. And then from here to elbows, from the front to the back. Elbows while you're doing this. And you can come slower. You can even watch and see your arm go, come back out of string. And when you're okay with it, go from there. As fast as you can and go. And then, if you go really fast, it's actually whole body working out. That's what we want. All right, switch directions. And here sometimes, it's a bit scary, how our shoulders can clack. But yeah, it's just, that's why we're doing this. We're warming it up. It's like flossing. Although there's shoulder flossing is a bit different, but it feels like brushing my teeth if I take care of my joints, and this is taking care of your joints, basically. And it's something we should do daily. And when we feel it's like clucking a lot, that means like, okay, we should maybe brush our joints a little bit more often. All right, from here again, from the front to the back, you can start slow and you can watch because you want the elbow straight from the side, elbow straight. And then from here, go fast. As fast as you can. Nice. All right. And then from here, switch direction. You can probably hear quite well that this makes me breathe a lot. It's not that easy, is it? Okay, enough. Now again, take a second to feel your body, how your circulation is up, how your hands feel, how your feet feel. Okay, we do one more that I really like to do. It is upper body twist, and it gives a little bit of freedom. Also, like, we will move this area between the ribs, the rib cage, and the shoulder blades. So this is how we do it. You bring your arms up here, and there are probably different methods to do it, but I like it this way. So we start, and we actually, at the moment, do not care too much about letting the hips go within it and the feet as well. We just find momentum. We look where we twist. And then you can start this carefully and then goes faster with time. And again here, this is also good training for our brain because we're training balance here as well, right? Okay, now when you feel a little bit safer in the movement, try to keep your feet grounded and then eventually even lock your hips in place so that this movement really comes from your upper body. Do it as well as you can. Continue a little bit and then slow down and come back to a quiet standing posture. Okay, from here, we start to work a little bit more with our shoulders, exactly with these muscles. It's not that we will feel them too much in our back drops, but the more we can control our muscles in our shoulders, in our upper body, the better and safer we will feel in the back drops. So that is why we do the next one. You can come into this mudra. It makes it just simpler. But we want straight arms. So if you are here and have to bend your arms for doing this, then keep your arms parallel, but keep them straight. All right. If possible, you come into this position. And then from here, don't let this happen. I mean, it's already a back bend. That's nice. But at this moment, we go more for control. So pull in the ribs, engage the glutes, and push these arms away from you. Up. Stay here for a little bit. breathe. You can close your eyes. I love to close my eyes in these exercises. Do what feels good to you. And then from here, we start slowly. We bend sideways, but think of it this way. Lift, and then your hips do not move with it. This time, no, we don't do that. This time we really want to work these muscles here. It's a little bit painful, but still, let's do it. Okay, up, 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 and then bend. Doesn't matter which side first, but you don't do this. It's not coming from the hips. It's really coming from your back. Stay in there. We stay for 3, 2, and 1. We come back to the center. And then from here again, lift, come to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come back to the center. Then go back. Now we go to the front. So here, it's really, we try to work from the upper back. So we pull the ribs in. I just said the upper back, right? Well, we pull the ribs in, and then we push the shoulder blades apart. Okay, round back. And we stay here again for 5, 4, 2, well, someone can count, and 1. Breathe in, come back up. Well, for the back, bend back into lat section. Keep your legs engaged, keep your hands engaged. Pull. And then from here, first, pull your arms back, pull them back as much back as you can, and then lift the chest. And now if the ribs come out a bit, that's fine. Lift the chest, engage the glutes, and push up, push up. We stay here. That's enough. For 3, 2, and 1. Come back to the center. Your arms. Just a little bit. This was not it. You do a few circles like this. So, and then here. Bring your arms up as high as you can. And then we start by side bending. Okay, we go to the side. And then we go back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come all the way to the front. And then repeat. Breathe in. Breathe out. It's 5 times to one direction. 5 times to the other direction. Again, I continue now. I personally prefer it with eyes closed. And then I imagine myself that the whole part of my body is completely still and stable, really stable. And then as I try to show fast, but you head on my knee. Almost. If I can engage my upper back, engage my upper back in this, but imagine I could. I channel my Rebecca Hannah. So, circles. If you haven't yet, maybe it's time now to switch sides and do it again. Try even to combine it with your breath. What happens quite often, keep doing it. What happens quite often when we do exercises like this is we stop breathing. Please try to continuously breathe. It's also very important for our back bends because when we get stuck, we hold our air in, hold our tightens up. So sometimes the body area in the back bend. Again, that's working on still. So it's just an idea how you can go at this. All right, I hope you have finished by now. Else you can always press the stop pause button. We continue here. So now we'll up over our body. Hope you feel that all of the exercise. So let's start to cope our hips. It's also about hips, right? I said to it. So shift your weight to your left leg and then start to swing the right leg. First, shrug with the arm as well. So, I grip like the opposite. So, swing my right leg, get my left arm up, and so we'll do. So while you're doing this, you can start moving a little bit bigger. Swing. Want to really focus on is keep the standing leg nicely straight, but because we don't want to there is thing and it's neat. How do you want to come and say when we go forward? So also backward, pressure from the wall, and then go forward. Yeah, but have a for the type of is 4, and 1. Yay! So, do you feel how warm you are deep right foot is? That amazing. Good transport. You don't in the cabinet. That's what the wall. Only the wall of the head. And the place really did it. I can hurry. Fine. Finding peace. Right. Engage. Integrate your view of the still the 5 4. Guys, my hips and how to get the kill like tool. Okay, so now a little bit of a kill combination for the hips, but also legs with all legs. If you want for the next exercise, you can prepare 2 blocks. So you can prepare them, have them here. Doesn't mean that you really need them. I will show you the exercise sidewards because it's a little bit better to see what we're actually doing. So here, bring your hands to your hips and then bring your right leg up. Again, it's okay if it's down here, but you really don't want to compensate by bending the knee or leaning backwards. So pull basically the leg into the joint. It feels like that to me. Engage, engage, engage. We stay for 3, 2, 1. And now, if you want, you can use the blocks for the next exercise. You bring, I take it for a break while I talk. You stay in there. So you bring the leg 90 degrees to the side and you lift. If you have your hands here on the floor, it's a bit easier. Of course, it's more of a balancing act if you stay up here. Okay, that's enough. Come into Virabhadra Asana 3, Warriors 3. Keep your hips, and again, you can use your blocks. Keep your hips even and your legs straight, also the standing leg. If it's not possible, then okay, you can then, right? Because sometimes this feels too far away or hamstrings are too tight for it. If it's too tight, then okay, you bet. Okay, we stay. And then from here, now it becomes interesting. We come all the way up and we bend the right knee, we grab it with our right hand. From here, we stand straight again. Really engage now the left glute, and we are already starting to bend into our hip flexor. So from here, first, straighten your right arm, lift the chest, engage the glute, and start to lean backward. If you feel like it, slowly bring your arm into this. All right, and you get a little bit of the feeling of a backdrop already. Then come back up and stand down. Let's switch sides. So we started with this. We lift our left leg. You stay here and you make sure it feels like pulling it in, and you keep a straight back, keep a straight leg here. Okay, I think that's enough. You can use your blocks. Bend a little bit forward, but mainly lift this left leg up. All right, for 2 and 1, and then bring it into Warrior 3. Okay, make sure your hips are even. Sometimes it's a bit easier to even out the hips when you actually bring your hands to the block, look down, and then lift, lift, lift. Engage the glute, and then from here, I stay for 2 more. Also, you may notice I'm not bending the upper back. I'm really opening up the chest, rolling the shoulders back. Okay, from here, again, a nice transition. We come into standing position here. We grab the left knee and then we engage the right glute. And let's try this time a little bit differently. Bring up your right arm, look up first, and then slowly, slowly bend back. But it's mostly actually pushing into your hip flexor. So this is the nice thing. This really resembles already the feeling. Breathe in, come back up, stand down. This really already resembles this feeling of a backdrop, at least if you mostly work from your hip flexors. Okay, from here, you can put the blocks away. You can also press pause and actually do this a couple of more times. It's a really nice controlled warm-up and a lot of footwork, leg work, hip work with already a bit of opening of the hip flexors and this feeling of going back. Okay, from here on now, we will go more and more into our hip flexors. So the next exercise, we want to, again, warm up properly. Don't mind me shifting this around. It's just so I don't lose the thread and still can talk to you. So we come into our downward facing dog. And before you do it, because then you cannot watch the camera, you come into your downward facing dog. Watch me first. Come into the downward facing dog, and then we lift the right leg, and then we will step forward into a lizard. And here we really want to lower these hips down, and we don't let the front leg drop out, although it wouldn't be bad really. But we stay here and we try to lift the chest. If you know that the floor is too far away for you, you can use a block. You can also use 2 blocks and stay up here, but you really want to engage this back leg, the glute. You want down. So we don't want necessarily this. Of course, you stay in the floor. Okay, and we will do this 10 times on one side and then 10 times on the other side. All right, ready. So come into your downward facing dog. Yeah, I always enjoy my first downward facing dog. So push the floor away, engage these arms, and then maybe let go a little bit of the chest. Let it think through the arms. All right, and then from here, lift your right leg. Again, you can keep the hips square if you want to, but okay, it's also fine to have them a little bit open up and enjoy a bit of a stretch if you like that. And then from here, okay, now we go a little bit for speed, but you can go slower and then stop the video. Okay, we come forward. We found our lizard, and we come back. And 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 5, up, 6, up, 7, up, 9, 8, up, 9, up. Last one, 10, nice, all right. From here, find your way back into downward facing dog. If your wrists need a break, take a break here. Shake them out before we come to the other side. Feel a little bit into your hips. Your right hip should feel delicious. All right, from here, make space. And then we come to the other side. Find your downward facing dog. Then make a nice inhale here. Lift your left leg. You can open up your hip if you wanna. And then take a big step forward. Lizard pose. First one is like, let's do it. Okay, let's go back. Okay, and step forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nice. Okay. From here, take a step back and then come to your knees. Give your wrists a break. We come into more work for our hip flexors. We'll work from low lunge. So we will be on one knee for quite a bit. If your knee usually hurts when there's a bit of weight on it for a certain amount of time, get a blanket or something under your knee. Personally, I don't need it, but don't let that hold you up from taking a break. Get your blanket. Okay. So from here, as promised, we come into a low lunge. Bring your right leg to the front and then bring your left knee to the floor. And see that my foot is actually flat in the back. Flatten your foot. And then from here, I really like this part. Stretch into your hip flexor. Engage the glutes and lift the chest up. Roll your shoulders back. Stay here. Oh gosh, you should feel the hip flexors. I love it. But yeah, I'm a hip lady. So, okay, stay here. You can, you could even add some more dynamics first. If this is not a nice movement for you, if you're really fighting with tight hips, tight hip flexors, then you can do a little bit of this shifting back and forth first until you stay static. Okay. What helps me is actually also to really activate my core and then activate my quads. And I sometimes will pull down that is on the floor. All right. And then here for your upper body, you can always use the blocks. And that is me. If you're not going down here, what we could do too. But if you're not, then you're already working a little bit on our back bend. And today, it's about back drops, so it's a really good thing if you want to work on your back bend. So yeah. Also, if you don't have a blanket and you want to work on it, but your knee hurts, you could use a block. That can even intensify the exercise if you really still try to go down. Right? Feel how it is for you. I personally don't want it right now. Okay, good. Then from here, let's give it a bit of a break. So we straighten our front leg, we pull the toes in, and we try to actually tilt the pelvis and bring belly and upper thigh together. Here, if you want, you can also relax your upper back, come down a little. And there's always the option to make this much more active by actually balancing here. And even have a little bit of a stretch. But okay, so I think we have had enough of a break. We come back in, and now we make it a little bit more intense. Foot flat again. We come up, we interlace the fingers, and now slowly engage and tailbone down, lift the chest, straighten the arms if you want to have more here. Come closer with your hands to your upper body, like wander up your thigh towards your torso, and come into your back bend. Oh, nice. Lift the chest up, straight arms. Come back to the front for a second. Take another little break. Just a little bit, right? We don't want to really tire all our whole muscles and body just from this exercise, but we are, I hope you notice, really working on our hip flexors. From here, we want a bit of back leg engagement. So we can bring in the arms to the inside of the front knee, and we can give the upper body a little bit of a rest now, and then pull in the point your toes and bring the heel towards your pull as much as you can. You should feel the hamstrings here. Maybe you don't, but I really should. You really should. And I hope, it's doing it for me. So, okay. And then relax. And let's do it now 5 times. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we don't want to come up and down here while we're doing this. This is, again, compensation with movement. If we would kind of start to pull in, but bring the butt up, that's not what we want. We want to keep the hip flexors stretched. Okay, and now we do a little bit of a different exercise. You could combine this. You could combine this, but not the topic for today, but you could combine this and we'll bring the stick leg up. We'll also go to the forward. So from here, we come up, we shift the weight up. We come a little bit closer to something that is a technique that we will not completely use today for our back drop. We can still bring it in here. My heel is up now. So we could do the same. So you could bring your heel up, and then we do a little bit of a circle. So we go with our upper body towards the back leg. See how I do it? I bring my left hand to the left heel, and then I do a hop. And then we come back to the front. Try to keep your hips stable. Keep them forward. Keep your hips engaged. Tailbone down. And again, we breathe. We come forward. We don't stay for too long. A few repetitions. And then take a break. Keep going. And one thing, notice your breath. All in.
hold it out. Easy going breath.
Don't hold it. All right, by now I think you have done enough repetitions, or I hope so. You can always press pause and do more, but we switch now the sides. So bring your left leg to the front, and then again you can bring your hands to the inside of your foot here, and then maybe you bring the back knee, the right knee a little bit further back, foot is flat, and then you look to the front. You can again work with your blocks here. There can be one, there can be two blocks, can be like this, it doesn't matter. It needs to fit you, and what we want to work on is really
open chest, shoulders back, stay low form. Okay, engage the glute, engage the back leg, bring this engagement. Stay low. And if you feel like, oh gosh, I look really good here, then
you can bring your hands here and do it again dynamically. Not too long, we want a little bit of this coming further down. If you need a block underneath your back knee or a blanket, do make yourself as comfortable as possible in these exercises, and then come back here. Nice. Okay, we'll make it a little bit harder, right? So from here, we come up now,
balance before we will engage here and low. So we fold ourselves up, do that. And from here, we interlace the fingers and bring the hand to the knee, or we can bring it closer. It will make the back bend more intense. So from here, again, we start to come into back bend. Don't curl of your stretch all over hip like really all here and worry. What really? You're really.
Could also bring your. You don't need to, but you can take a short break. And again, this might be your break. Pull in the toes. Try to bring your belly towards your upper thigh. You can make it a balancing posture if you feel like it. You can stay here and really rest, or you go a bit further into your passive stretching. But although it might be passive stretching, engage the quads. Pull your toes in. Yeah, all right. Next round. So from here, you can keep your hands in the inside, and then again we do this hamstring exercise. We bring in now the right heel and try to bring it to our right glute. Pull, and do not do this. Don't compensate. Stay low and stay there. But you can compensate here. If it feels too intense, you can compensate here. And of course, you could always make it also a little bit of passive stretching. There's nothing to say against that, especially if your quads are a bit tight as well.
You need to
add something like this here,
right? Because then it's more also of a core.
Okay. So from here, if you want, for a second, you can combine. You can also press pause. And if you really enjoy this stuff, you can come here again into a form of Rajakapadasana.
You want to pull this leg in, and then also pull back, bro. Pull that back.
And relax again. All right. And now we come into the, hopefully, fun part. Heel up. You can have a flat heel as well. It's a bit harder, but not too much, actually. And then from here, we do this dynamic variation of Ustrasana. I call it this way. It's similar enough, right? So we move our arms to the right side. The right hand goes to the right heel, and then the left arm does a nice half circle. We lift up the chest. We breathe in. You can push yourself away from the heel. And then from here, we come back to the front. Breathe in. And in. Oopsie. And continue. Continue for as long as you enjoyed. But take a bit of stretch. I really love because our brain has the time and our body has the time to wrap our mind around it, right? And to relax a little. Okay, I hope you had enough repetition of it by now. We do a little bit more for our quads. Basically, it's an alignment thing. So For this one, I tell first how you can make it harder without doing the exercise. But anyways, if you keep your feet flat, it's gonna be harder. Like the right all booted. But you can make it hard if you feel like it. Keep your knees bit wide apart. No, anything of this. I'm basically talking to myself. So tuck the tailbone, engage the wall, and this way. Those are very important for back bend practice or back drop practice in this case. But again, I'll make it easier for myself. If you can bring your arms up, well, to make it like that, bring your arms forward. And now, keep glutes engaged. Stay straight here. Come back and come back to the front. And also when you go to the front, stay straight. To 5 to 10 repetitions. And on the last repetition, stay as low as you can go for 5 breaths. Keep going. I'm taking a break. So, to the break. All right. Now, I bet you have done a competition, so our last one will stay for 5 breaths as low as you can. Try to come back up. Okay. Arms forward. The tailbone again. And come down and hold. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh my gosh. It's so weird. Mostly in my hamstrings. But don't feel the part of the body that is the weakest. So what we did just here is also really good to learn to our back practice, because it's how we come back up. It's people hold it down if we work with the hip flexors. Okay. So I will do the cha-cha glutes, and I'll show you what you actually will do it. So we go bridge, and you can lift it as hard as you can and as hard as your props allow. So you could, for example, you have to weigh the kettlebell, for example, and have it on your belly, or work in persistent bands. Maybe you're familiar with those stretches, so do it the way that you are familiar with. But make sure you target this goal. So, for now, we do 2 rounds of what I'm just introducing. If you feel like you want to do more, that's always good. This warm-up stuff is always good to do more of. Okay, there's a limit, but it's good. So from here, find your alignment, have your feet hip wide apart, and if possible, parallel at the outer edge of the feet, parallel to each other. And then from here, some people have the arms here. I personally prefer to have my arms here. Sometimes it just feels more relaxed. It's not more relaxed, but it feels like it. And now I feel like going first. I engage my glutes, I push up, and I avoid to do something like this, because now actually my low back is working and not my hip flexors. My glutes, sorry, hip flexors, so much of them. Okay, let's do 20 repetitions. You can go as fast as you want. You can also add a little bit of engagement here by actually pulling in your ribs, and then you have like a little rounded upper back that's actually really nice to go up and down. I personally really like it. Continue until you have your 20. And yes, you really don't want to feel your low back. You really want to feel these glutes. You might feel a little bit something in your legs, that's fine. But glutes, 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 glutes. All right. If you're not yet finished, you can always press pause or just listen to what the next exercise is going to be, because here we will also have a little bit of engagement of the abs. And now you might ask, why abs? We're doing back bends, no? Yes, but actually if you let really go of these muscles here, then the front muscles, then the back bends will not necessarily feel good, especially if your body type is like mine, where my abs or my front lets go too easily. So I actually collapse into my low back. So that's why I think it's useful for a lot of people to engage the core first. Not necessarily for Saskia, who has a pretty awesome core, right? She would probably not need to do it, but it doesn't hurt. So bring your arms up, and Saskia, you know to what Saskia I'm talking to here, right? she's super strong. So push the low back down, pubic bone up, bring your arms here. So, and now it's not just a touching of the floor, it's really pushing down. And if you don't feel this, if you're Saskia, bring your arms up. And if you still feel like, yeah, what are we doing here? What's the exercise? And then actually lift the legs, maybe. And now I'm talking, so I need to cheat a little bit, so you wouldn't do that. But you can have your legs like this. But most importantly is that you don't start to lift your low back. You press down, you press down, you press down. If you're still doing it, you're exhausted by now, relax. All right. So in this exercise, what's key for people like me have a too pronounced lordosis. It's actually a hyperlordosis, and the front of my body is not very strong. It's very important to focus on pushing down into the floor. It's not just a touching and pulling the ribs in, staying here. And that actually helps me a lot to feel good in back bend. Okay, second round of glute bridges. If you feel like glute bridges are fucking easy for you, sorry, the F word, then maybe lift one leg, do it 10 with one leg lifted and then 10 with the other leg lifted. So let's try that for a change. Bring your ass up, move your ass, engage the glutes, and then bend one knee. If you feel like no fucking way you're gonna do this, bring your leg back and do it the normal way. Okay, good. We start. You do your repetitions, if you do it the same way with one knee up, do it 10 times on one side and then do it 10 times on the other side, right? You can always take a break in the video and press pause and then continue when you're done, right? So I guess by now you have 10 on one side at least, and then switch sides. Make sure that you're still really working this glute. In this case, if you do it one-sided, it's really just one glute firing while the other one is resting. But the glute firing has to do double work. When you're done, lay down and we come to our second round of abs. So again, lift your upper body so your shoulder blades are no longer touching the floor. Arms to the front and push this low back in. Push. it's like push. Anyways, okay. You can lift the legs. You can bring your arms here, but stay active. Push down. We do it for 5. In total, we do it much longer. But now I'm starting count. Okay, let's say 3, 2, and 1. All right. Grab your legs. Roll yourself up. Take a block. By now, you maybe ask yourself, when do we start the back drops? Soon. We have not that many more preparing exercises. The next one is actually really nice. It's really nice. I like it. And it's again for people with tight hip flexors. It's really nice because now we go into a hip flexor stretch, but we do it in a way that we can actually relax into it. With a block, you have 3 heights. You can go flat if your hip flexors are freaking tight. And that's not a judgment. It's just a state of being. And then you have it flat. If your hip flexors are quite all right, you go this way. If your hip flexors are open, you go higher up. And of course, for some people, they will go higher and higher and higher. But I feel it's, for most people, this would be high enough. I recommend you, if you're not familiar with the exercise, to start like this. Also take it square to your back. We go here, where you have this bone plate. I forgot the English name. So is it? No, sacrum is a bit further down. This bony part there in the middle. I forgot the name. So, but anyways, I think you know what I mean. Else you have to just touch yourself now and find this little triangle there. Then lift your glutes, lift the butt, and bring the block here. If you feel here like, yeah, feels okay, but nothing is happening, well, we're not finished with the exercise. You would also straighten your legs. And now you see here we have actually a stretch. And to me personally, this is like nice, but also not doing anything. So I would come back up and put the block like this. And again, I would find the straight legs. And now it feels like, oh, wow, this is actually a nice opening. So now I hope you feel a stretch. For some people, they feel even a stretch in here. That's fine too. If you feel
that your front side is stretched, great, because what else is this than a back bend, right? And this back bend is centered here. And that's what we're going to use later. So that's why it's a really nice and good exercise. But, I wouldn't start with this exercise. You want your body warmed up. So by now, I hope you're warm and you can enjoy this and feel that, your body was ready for it. You can stay. You can take a break here, take a break in the sense of staying for longer, because it's actually a really nice exercise. But don't stay for as long don't stay too long so your body is not cooling down completely. When you come out of this exercise, feet flat, bend the knees, lift the hips, take the block away, lower your hips down. And then come back up, sit up, and we do a second exercise. And this one will target more middle and upper back, actually. That's the goal, at least. So we want to feel them as well, because you're doing back bends. It's, again, I like the exercise a lot. Passive, so of course I like it. And I hope you will too. But by now we have earned some passive exercises, because we also need a little bit of rest before we actually go into the back bend. So this time, again, you have 3 heights. You know your body best. Trust your feeling. I can give you one clue when it's too low, or when I would go higher, or when it's too high. So let's start here, middle height. And we bring it exactly underneath the shoulder blades. Again, square. Is it square? Okay, you know what I mean. We bring it like this to our back, and then we start to lay down and let your neck hang. If this is very uncomfortable for your neck, you could bring a block underneath your head. If it's not necessary, then please don't, because it's actually also really good for the neck. Okay, you lay down. If you can, straighten your legs. And now you see my arms are just simply even straight arms. Engaged straight arms are easily touching the floor. Doesn't mean that I couldn't stay here and actually enjoy it. But if I want to progress, that would be the sign to go further up. So I would bring the block like this. Again, it would be in the center, but underneath my shoulder blades. If it feels wrong, it's probably right. So at some point, it stops being very comfy. All right, and then from here, again, I relax the neck. I straighten my legs, and I have my arms parallel, straight. I could have them together as well. That requires even more flexibility. So if you're really flexy, you might want to bring your hands together, but you don't need to. If you can, bring them parallel. That's already requiring quite a bit. And then from here, stay. I mean, you can hopefully not see me now. So stay. Listen to my voice. I'll guide you through this. Stay, stay, stay. If you can, imagine while you inhale, you lengthen the front of your body. While you exhale, you sink down on this block. And again, it's breath that guides you. Keep your breath flowing and relaxed. And use it. Really use it. Don't do this and don't do this. Good stop. I mean, I obviously am familiar with that, but okay. Okay, by now you're probably ready to come out. Probably you were already half a minute before, but anyways, so we come out. There are 2 ways to come out. Or bring the hands now close to your back, push your hands into the floor and push yourself up. Or the option, you tuck your chin, and then from there, you pull in your ribs, you engage the front of your body, and you lift yourself up straight. Most important is that you don't want to bend while you're kind of laying here on the ground. Not that really anything can happen, but it doesn't feel good, and it's not the best technique. So we want to use what we can. This is a pushing yourself out is passive, and actually pulling yourself up is a bit more active. Okay, we're nearly there. Just one more exercise before we really go to the dropbacks. And that's with the blocks again. Puppy pose can be done in many, many ways. So crash course, and it's going to be up to you what you do.
You can do it without any blocks because puppy pose can be hard enough. And actually, why are we doing it? Well, we stretch again a little bit more into our shoulders, move back. Yes, I would say it's a really good thing to do as a preparation for most back bends. But for back drops here, we will work also with our hip flexors. Still, so they open up here in the foot. Okay, so from here, hands shoulder wide apart, and then you want to have your knees about in the right angle, and then you look forward, and then you start to lower down the chest. Maybe you have to bring your hands a little bit more further to the front. Keep your head up. And if you can, keep your chin away from the floor. It's not necessary, but it's a nice touch, right? So, and then press your chest down. If your chest is hovering in the air, that can stay this way. You will still have a lot of feelings in this movement, but you can also use a block and press your chest to the block. Because as soon as you have some resistance, something you can press against, you will feel that the muscles between your shoulder blades are much more engaged. All right, good. So that's one variation. And if this doesn't do much to you, you can work with blocks. You could do it this way, or you can, for example, do it this way. There's many, many more ways. For the sake of the length of this video, I restrict my instructions to these variations. So here you bring the whole hand onto the block. You look to the front. You engage your arms. You roll your armpits towards your face. And then you look, and you lower down, And then you keep breathing, of course. You stay here. Oh, I actually really love this exercise. Stay here for 5 to 10 breaths. You could stay longer, but then pull your ribs in, push your hands down. Stay here for 5 to 10 breaths, and then come back down. And then do this a couple of times. Up and down, and again, it's a good moment to pause the video and play with this movement. Up and down, staying up, pulling the ribs in, pushing the hands down, and then going down. Up, pressing the chest down, having active arms by also turning the armpits towards your face. And it's always this feeling of, I never let my arm, if I do these things, I never let my arm sink in. I always push it out. Give it length. Helps to avoid pain in the shoulder joint. All right, I think by now we are freaking ready for some back drops. So let's start with that. If you're like me, actually not too long ago, like, oh fuck, back drops, I'm still not ready. So hold your horses. We're not just dropping back. If you feel like, oh, I want to drop back since at least half an hour, well, do it. But if not, take a block and you will get very familiar with this block. So be nice to it. Again, I hope you can still see me here. You will bring the block and you will press your pubic bone against the block. You can stand a little bit more than hip wide apart, and you can have a little bit of V shape with your feet. Then you press, and then you bring your hands in front of your chest. Roll the shoulders back, or lift the chest, but we'll press to the front. Press. Or I will stay there. Go as far as you can. Straight legs, strong legs, engage the glutes, press to the front while you're bending back. If the hands in front of your chest are too easy, you can always start to scribble. You don't need to, you can. Okay, and if you have done this, if you have stayed in it for 5 to 10 breaths, 10 is actually quite ambitious, 5 breaths. Take a break, come out, and maybe do a little bit of jumping. Yeah, jumping and all. What I also like to do in between is something like this. Just relax. And maybe do it again. If you do it again, take a break here, meaning press pause and do it again. Do it maybe up to 3 times. or as long as you enjoy this exercise. We come now to the next exercise. The next exercise we do without wall, and it's half of a technique to just get used to go back, but it's not really a back drop yet. You could let it grow to a back drop, but we don't right now, or maybe you do, but I don't. Okay, so I bring one foot back and the heel is, and then from here, I look over my shoulder, I lift my arm, the arm on the side of the heel. I look back, I try to stay as straight as I can, and come into a back bend, and when I want to start to touch, don't, well, painfully. So here, you can cheat a little bit. Cheating means at some point you will allow yourself to bend the knees a little bit, but you try to avoid it for as long as you can. So if you haven't yet, try the other side. Bring your left heel back, left arm goes up, you look back, and you touch. And if you cannot touch the heel, don't worry. Touch here, touch here. Doesn't matter. Do it a couple of times on each side. Play with it. And while you do this, just focus on, actually you want to bend as much as you can. So you engage the glutes and you want to go into this area, into your hip flexor area. So you come up and walk back. You come back up. You don't need to stay. You can't stay. You don't need to. Keep it as fluid of a movement as possible, but also control as well. It's a equal balance between letting go and control. Keep it fluid and keep it controlled. All right. If you need more time with this exercise, it's really, I actually like it. It's a bit weird, but I like it. And it takes away this kind of, the floor is so far away. So with this, I don't need to really go into a proper wheel. So I don't really yet go into Urdhva Dhanurasana, just playing around. Okay, now we have done 2 exercises. And with both exercises, we have learned a little bit to keep our hips in the front. That we will now use for our second last exercise, back drop exercise that I really, really like. It's, I can show it first without the wall, but actually we're going to do it with the wall. This one is stay. How do you say? Lakho. Again, this word. Probably will think of the word afterwards. Anyways, you know what I mean, right? Don't listen up. Keep breathing, keep moving. So we will do a little bit of this. And you see, there's a lot going on really at the moment. It's like just actually swinging a little bit. And come back. In and out. In and out. So you can do this in the room. And you will feel like it would break about. We'll go to the wall and then you see the back drop exercise in it. So here, you do the same again. You will have to find the right distance for you. When you go closer, the back drop is not, or the back bend in this case, we don't drop back, right? But the back drop will not be very intense. That's really good if you're not sure yet how far you can go. But eventually you will have to go further away from the wall. So find just a starting distance for you, or experiment and be brave and go further away. Be aware, if you go too far away, maybe you will have to have a step back to keep balance. Okay, from here again, you stay easy. It's not about going extremely deep down, but you could. It's really find your own rhythm. And then you keep breathing, and you go, and go like, and you keep it, and back. I have the luxury of having a mirror there. I love it, because then I can actually see that I go down further and further and further, and that's what you want to do. You go, and then you come back to the front. So I also noticed that when I come back, quickly, at some point, I will hold my breath a little bit, but it's not this. It's actually giving me some strength. So if you feel that you're tensing up, then you need to keep breathing. If you feel like actually you have to control and it's actually helping you, you might play with holding the breath just a little bit. So from here again, keep going. You know? And I hope you notice, and I hope you're taking care of, you do not bend your legs doing this.
Legs are straight, glutes are engaged. Move the chest out and sweep and come back full front. Hey, come back to the front. If you need to take a break, take a break. Taking a break between back bends is amazing when you do this. Like go into Malasana or yogi squat and hang out here. If you have a colleague, cross your arms and hang in there. If you don't have a colleague, but you have a wooden pole, go to the wooden pole and become a dancer. Go down far enough so you can lean. You press into the outer edge of your heels and you lean a bit further away and then you can get a stretch like this. So I always like to do this a little bit in between because it relaxes my low back, it relaxes my whole body actually. Okay, so if you haven't had a break yet, if you are still continuing, just take a second. And for our next exercise, this is one of my favorites, and this one I would recommend you. If you're like me, I mean, there are many ways how to start to do back drops, but if you're like me, I love control. I hate to let go. I call what I'm doing spider walks. Don't ask me why, but I call them spider walks. I walk down the wall, and what I often see people do, and that's what we want to avoid, is they lean against the wall. I'll quickly show you the movement, and then I explain more what I mean. So you're here, and because you've done the exercise before, you know how far you can go and still reach the wall. So you come here, you can do it exactly the same way as before. You swing a little bit, reach for the wall, and then you can start to bring your hands there. It's not my preferred way, to be honest, but still, it's enough to show you what we're going to do. We're going to bring the whole hands to the floor, and not to the floor, to the wall. And what we want to avoid is that suddenly we carry weight in our hands. What we also want to avoid is bending the elbows. We want to keep our arms as straight for as long as possible, as straight as possible. And now comes the good part. There's always also a good message. At some point, we can now cheat and not. So we will bend our knees. Let me show you my preferred way to do this exercise, and then you experiment with what works for you. Again, we want to keep the most of the weight in our feet and in our legs. Remember the beginning of the lesson. Remember the class in the beginning. Our feet are very essential. We need to have an awareness of our feet. We want to always keep the glutes engaged. We try to avoid bending our knees too early, but at some point we will just bend the knees and shift the weight again forward, right? We don't allow that lean weight to go back. We try to keep it as far to the front as possible. Again, my preferred way now, or not again, for the first time, I bring my hands here together, and then I engage the legs, I engage the glutes. My feet are rather far apart, and then roll the shoulders back, lift the chest up, go back with my hand, back as far as I can. Then I straighten my arms, I bring them to the wall, and then you see, my legs start a little bend, and then I walk down. At the beginning, and that's fine. Or it might be the case that you need to do a lot of little hand movement, little steps with your hands. That's also fine. What you want to do is you want to practice this exercise. You want to practice this exercise until you are actually quite comfy with it and barely need the wall. And then you might be ready to go to your mat and just do a back drop. So for now, maybe you press pause and play with this walking up and down, and work with your hips. You want to really feel that when you come here, yes, we could have a lot of engagement here, and that would help us a lot. Go to Rebecca. She will show you how to do it properly. But we can work a lot with our hips here. A lot. And then bring that in our arms. And we come down. And we can do this with the wall without having to do a proper backdrop. We just touch the wall, and the less we need the wall,
the more ready we are for without the wall. All right, repeat for as long as you want. And when you're done, press continue and we'll relax a little bit. Because this was actually our backdrop practice. And to be honest, if I would have just done backdrops at the beginning for myself, at the beginning of the class, it would not have felt good to me. Right now, it feels amazing. It's easy going, as easy as it is for me. And it feels good. I hope it's the same for you. Okay, now let's cool down. Again, if you have a partner, do it with a partner. If you don't have a partner, but if you have something like this where you can hold yourself, you can lean, then again, I'll do it on this side because I don't know actually if I'm still in the camera on the other side. So you lean in, you push here on the outer edge of the heels, and you can lean a little bit from one side to the other. You could even do something like this because it feels nice. It's a little bit of a twist as well. And the hip opening. That's nice. If you have neither, if you don't have, so hold yourself nor a partner, what you can also do is you can go into your malasana and just lean forward. That's also a good exercise. If none of this is for you, because maybe your heels are elevated, even if your heels are elevated, you can do the same exercise. It's still going to help back to relax. But we're going to do some more relaxation right now. So again, I have something for you to play with. I find it funny. That's why we're doing it. I hope this little fuck here will not get completely confused. But yeah, we're going to roll back and forth. Again, here, if you are not familiar with Halasana or Shalamba or if you have problems in here, maybe you don't want to do it, or you do it very slowly. Anyways, let me show you what we're gonna do. So we're gonna, from Malasana, we're gonna roll back and Halasana. Oh gosh, I hope you still hear me. Come into Halasana. We don't rest here. We just roll back to the front, come back into Malasana. If it's a problem to come up, you can use your hand. I will show you. So from here, we to the front, you can give yourself a little bit of a push and come back here. Do this a couple of times. Enjoy, like about 5 times. Keep going. I'll just keep talking because as you might have noticed, I like to talk. It's a really good exercise back, but also it engages a little bit our core. If you're done by now or you just don't enjoy it, so maybe then take a break. And we do for one last time, we do a little bit of engagement of our core, like a little bit more specific, like we did before in the warm-up. Now it's more to, if you go back, put too much work and it didn't feel good to you, this will probably help push down, the low back and the middle back, and here, lift the shoulder blades. Come into this position, you make it as hard for you as you need to feel something, but focus on the low back. We stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe in, lift laterals, or you can hug your knees in, or from one side to the other. Oh, isn't it nice? All right, and then bring arms each side of your body, hand, palms down. You can also have palms up. So from here, then bring your knees to your right side. You can stack your knees. That will, again, make your upper body work more. But if you want to do it in a very relaxed way, you let your hips help you a little bit with the twisting, and you come here. Make sure, especially if you let both knees go, that both shoulders are touching the floor, and then turn your head away from your knees so you have a little bit of a twist through the whole spine. If this is not intense enough for you, or you want to feel more, again, you could stack your knees. That will make it more intense, or you straighten the right leg, and then you can hook your left foot in the right knee or over the right knee, and then you can have a little bit more bending here. There are all the variations of this twist. Of course, you can do the variation that suits you best. So if you have stayed here for a while, come back to the center and do it on the other side. Again, turn your head away from the knees. And if this here is not yet intense enough and you wish some intensity, then bring your knees and stack them. You see my shoulders lifting when I do this. It's also my bad side, to be honest. But if you want to keep that a little bit more relaxed, you can also just straighten your left leg in this case, and then hook your right foot in the right knee, and then twist from here. If you try to bring your knee to the floor while not lifting the shoulder, the opposite shoulder, the right shoulder. Yeah. And this, again, is not a competition, and it's nothing that we need to achieve. Sometimes you forget that, I think, especially with backdrops, because, I mean, the difference of not touching the floor behind you or touching the floor is very kind of noticeable, of course. But it's really not about achieving anything, but maybe more balance. Balance and peaceful state of feeling just good in your body, as good as it's possible to feel in your body. And also this relaxation that comes when you have some physical practice. It's for a lot of people, me included, it relaxes me, not just physically, it relaxes me emotionally. And also if I allow it to be completely absorbed by the moment and by the movement, my mind is relaxed quite a bit. So from here, you might have noticed I came back onto my back. If there's any kind of movement you really need to do right now, do it. Do what feels good to you. For me, it's now a Shavasana. And I do like to do Shavasana with open hips, but I would just recommend that if your hips are fairly relaxed in this position, because in Shavasana, it's not about another exercise. It's about letting go and doing nothing physically while you stay aware inside. So here, I invite you to find a really comfortable position for you, one that allows you to relax. And sometimes, of course, it would be nice now if someone comes and gives you a little bit of a massage. If you were here in a class, I would do that for you. But now, when you're maybe by yourself doing this video, you might press the back of your head into the floor, lift the chest a little bit, roll the shoulders back down, and then relax back down. That already might give you a little bit more of an opening in your front and is relaxing. Also notice if you're doing this, bring your chin in towards the chest and feel that your neck is relaxed. All right, and if you haven't by now, close your eyes and observe your breath. Observe the quality of your breath, and that doesn't mean, oh, there's a good breath or a bad breath. It's more like, how does it feel? How is your inhale? How is your exhale? What does it do to you? How does it change your inner state? How does it influence your body, your mind, your emotions? And finally, I will get quiet now, and you can stay in this posture, in Shavasana, and relax. If you can, pause the video now, have some relaxing music for yourself, and stay in Shavasana for maybe 10 minutes, if it feels good to you, and if you have the time, for 20 minutes. Stay awake with your mind and just observe yourself and your breath without identifying with either of them.